There we are. We live. The big week has arrived. Joey is getting married. The Montones are heading for Florida, but before I leave for the land of meth and alligators, it's time to podcast. A fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap starts now.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Well, I did it!
Did what?
I got engaged. I'm getting married. I asked Susan to marry me. We're getting married this Christmas.
You're getting married?
Yes!
Oh my God!
I asked her to get married. I'm a man, Jerry. I'm a man.
Right. That's enough Seinfeld. I don't even know if that was feeding through the fucking thing. I gotta figure out. I'm all sorts of fucked up here. Giddy up, though. Seinfeld reference for you motherfuckers. Mike Montone, Savage Sack Tap. How we doing? If I seem a tad low, he's very low energy. If I seem a little bit low energy, and especially if you're watching on the live stream here, it is because I am fucking exhausted. It's like 9:30 at night. Usually I do this fucking thing at 5 o'clock in the morning, so a little bit of a flip of the clock for me. You may notice my usual glass of water has been replaced with a heaping glass of chocolate milk. It's the gym before. I'm out of protein powder. Got to get those glycogen and fucking protein levels back up, so chocolate milk was the quick and available choice. Why am I doing a Tuesday night show when usually it is a Thursday morning show, you might be asking? Or maybe you don't give a shit, or maybe you've never tuned in before. You have no idea. Here's what's going on. My little brother is getting married. What a big week for the Montones. I'm flying down to West Palm, Florida tomorrow after work, a magical land of methamphetamines and alligators and Cubans and Jews and sun and women with loose morals. Should be a great time. But I did want to get a podcast in before I left, because otherwise it would be like next week before I do a show again, and then that would suck. That would be terrible. You wouldn't get to see my handsome face on the live stream, or hear my soothing masculine baritone coming to you over the airwaves here if you're a downloader. So I figured we'd fuck around, have a good time. This will be a quick one, though. I didn't really have time to show prep because I had a fucking best man speech to put together, so that had to come first this time. We had if you listen to last week's show, we had the bachelor party in the city, and it was nice because I live in Jersey City, so you don't have to get a fucking hotel room or anything like that. I came home the Friday night after we got back from the comedy club, and I sat down and I was drinking my sleepy time tea because I believe in self-care, as they say. I love a good warm cup of sleepy time tea. And the Anne Frank movie was on. Based at the Diary of Anne Frank, the Jewish girl who hid in the attic in Holland with her family from the Nazis during the Holocaust. And I'm watching it, and I turn it on, and there's this scene where they're all hiding upstairs, and it's nighttime because they were, I guess, upstairs above a business, and some guy's rooting around through the safe, and they're all getting worried that he's going to find out about them. And I'm thinking to myself, the first thing I'm thinking, what the fuck are they because they're like whispering, he's going through the safe. I'm like, what the fuck do you care if he's going through the safe? Like, who did you hide with? Whose place are you hiding in that they're dumb enough to have, what do they have, papers around that say, like, Jews upstairs? Like, I would think that wouldn't be a thing you would keep there. Like, what do you have in the safe? Like some cash and some valuables and stuff. You probably don't have a letter. It probably doesn't say, "Dear thief, if you find this, turn it over to the Nazis. Let them know we've been hiding some Jews upstairs. Like, I don't understand what... If that was me, talk about what the guy is doing after you hear him leave. Don't make... What the fuck is he gonna find in the safe, you fucking dummies? These, by the way, the Jewish people renowned as, like, the smartest people on the planet, you know, with the law degrees and such. It was very, very confusing that they would be worried about a guy rooting around in the safe. If I was, I'd be thrilled. I'd be like, yeah, rob the fucking place blind. What do you think? I don't give a fuck. Just don't find me. Don't call the SS. Like, that should be the priority if you're hiding upstairs in World War II Europe and you're a Jew on the run. I personally thought. Now, I don't know anything about this because I have never been running from ethnic cleansing, so I guess there could have been something in the safe. I just don't know. What would you keep? How terrible are you at hiding Jews that you would keep evidence of the Jews that you are hiding in the same building that you are hiding them in? It just huge holes in logic. Now, I only watched a couple scenes, so there could have been something to tie all of this together. I have no fucking clue, but it was in my drunk and sleepy state, very frustrating. Another incredibly frustrating moment from the same movie is they're hiding again, and it's a very noisy place they're hiding in, because you have to remember this is it's Holland. You got to figure a building that existed in the 30s, very creaky floorboards, you know, all sorts. They didn't have like linoleum and shit back then, or like fucking wall-to-wall carpeting. You weren't walking softly. No one had sneakers, and just a very difficult place to hide. And that's if it's like a modern building built then. If it's a fucking old building, fucking forget about it. You're gonna be terrible. No chance. Terrible place to hide from Nazis. But they're hiding up there, and these fucking dopes start brewing tea. Could there be a worse beverage to make if you're gonna be hiding somewhere? And because this isn't like, it's not like now if I make a cup of tea, I heat some water in the microwave and then I pour it. It's a relatively silent experience. We're talking about old school tea, right? This is 1930s tea with those big stupid fucking pots with the... I can't fucking whistle. Well, just what a disappointment as a man. I can't whistle. That's why I'm terrible at sexual harassment. I would have been the worst construction worker ever. I can swing a hammer, I can saw a saw. I can't fucking whistle for shit. Women would have been walking past me at the worksite completely unharassed. They would have felt perfectly comfortable walking past my worksite if I was a construction worker because of my inability to wolf whistle. But you get it. You know what a tea kettle going off sounds like. I cannot imagine if I was hanging out somewhere hiding from Nazis and some moron starts making a fucking pot of tea. I would have thrown his fucking ass out the window. I'd be like, you know what? Take him off to Bergen-Belsen or wherever the fuck. How do you make tea? Just drink a fucking glass of water. What do you need tea for? You're not going anywhere. You don't need a quick burst of green tea and hibiscus. You're stuck in a fucking attic. The last thing I would want under those circumstances is a caffeinated beverage. And likewise, you don't need like a sleepy time or a chamomile to get this. What do you have, a big day tomorrow? You're not doing anything. You lounge, you catnap, you sleep, you wake up, you read a book, you hang out. It wasn't the one guy, he was trying to finger the chick or something like that. He was trying to bang Anne Frank. I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's just bothersome. Again, the Jewish people, renowned for their intelligence, scholars, doctors, lawyers, and they're brewing tea while hiding for their very lives. Drink a quiet beverage. Serious. If you make iced tea, just drop the bag, put the bag in, and set it. Eventually, it's all gonna seep in there. You know, anything really than other than using that stupid pot. Just boil water in a pot and put the tea bags in. I'm coming up with these fucking things, and I'm a modern tea drinker. I don't have to make tea like this, and I'm thinking about this stuff, and I'm a dumb Italian guy from Jersey. You're telling me these, intellectual European Jews can't outthink a fucking Goomba from Bergen County? Get the fuck out of here. You guys fucking stunad. Anyway, I think we all know how that story ends. What a inconvenient thing, though. Especially if you're the young ones, because I think Anne was young, and then I think there was, like I was saying before, I was joking, there was a guy who might have tried to finger her up there, but I think there was, like, a teenage dude up there, and you start thinking about these things, and you're like, they were in there for a while. I think they were in there for a year? Longer? Maybe less, a little bit less, like months. How do you take a good shit? How do you fucking jerk off around all of this? I'm going to West Palm. We're all staying in an Airbnb. It's going to be reasonably luxurious, and going in, I worry about the defecation and the masturbation situation. You got family all around. You can't get into that comfortable zone where you're like, you know what I can do right now? I can squeeze one out. I can rub one out. It's gonna be real good. So yeah, I don't just what I'm getting. If I could with a brief sentence sum this up, this stumbling and bumbling opening segment here, I want you to take away a few things from this. One, always get all of your masturbating done before you're going to be living in close quarters with family. Defecation, good luck. That's, I don't eat. I don't know what to fucking tell you. And when hiding from the fucking Nazis, drink a quiet beverage. Could have saved these fine people a lot of fucking heartache. So I am tripping over my fucking words like a motherfucker. Like I said, it has been a long day. I was writing a best man speech before. At work, 8 hours. Went to the gym. I am fucking low on mental energy right now, boys and girls. But I'll tell you what, this chocolate milk is mighty tasty. Oh yeah. Anyway, speaking of defecation, I had a little run-in at work the other day. Well, not really a run-in, but I go to the bathroom, and we have this hallway that leads down the bathroom. So it's very, if you're going that way, you know a person is going that way, right? It's not like you can really descend upon it from different locations. If you're coming from the same part of the building and you're going to the bathroom, really only one way to get there. And this guy that I recognize from like the office, like the room next to mine, is ahead of me in the hallway, and I see it. We make eye contact because he gets into the hallway ahead of me. He sees me, I see him, and we both go into the bathroom, and he holds the door for me, and we go in. He goes for the shitter. I go for the urinal. I take a piss. He starts squeezing out a loud, nasty duke. Loud. I did tell you about the fucking one I heard today, but I'm going to save that one for next week. It was foul. It was like a 3 courtesy flusher. Horrible, but we'll get into it next week. But this guy, I see this guy around all the time, and I see him go in, unmistakably going to take a shit, because there's another urinal open. If he had to piss, he could have done that. You're going in to take a shit. And this violates one of my biggest rules of workplace shitting, and that is, you don't go in to take a shit if anyone in the bathroom knows you're going in to take a shit. If I get there, unless obviously there are emergency situations, it's coming out, you just had a huge cup of coffee and you had a big dinner the night before, we understand those things, right? There are times when it's unavoidable to shit with propriety. But I personally think that since it's 2019, there are multiple bathrooms in the building. The opportunity to shit without an audience presents itself in myriad ways, and you should pursue those ways. You should not, in a professional setting, be defecating with an audience, or at least doing your best to kind of kind of keep the fourth wall up, right? Don't let anyone know that it's you in there, right? I don't come out of the shitter if there are people out there. I don't go into the shitter if there are people out there. It's just the polite thing to do. You don't want to know, you don't want to walk around at work looking at people and saying, oh yeah, that guy didn't have it in him to take a shit at home. He decided to wait to come to work, and while we're all busy around here typing away at our computers, making money for the company, getting that cheddar, he was in there squeezing feces out of his butthole. Yeah, gross stuff. Anyway, I finish up, I take my piss, I go, I'm back at my computer. Who walks through the room, cutting through on the way back to his office, but the guy who took the shit? There are few things. It's a weird rush coming face to face with a person at work when you know they just took a shit. Almost like I would imagine if you're out on a boat and like a killer whale or a great white grazes the ship, like, that's a wild fucking animal. I'd almost equate it to, you know how they say that song, that Phil Collins song in I can feel it coming in the air tonight. I think they say it's about a guy who, like, witnessed a murder, or he saw some guy was drowning and this other guy didn't go save him. And then he saw him at the concert, and he sang. He's like, "I've seen your face before, my friend." Yeah, he's really needling the motherfucker. And the guy comes to the concert, and Phil Collins is singing to him, and he puts the spotlight on him because he knows that guy fucking killed somebody, or however the old urban legend goes. I don't even know if that's totally true, but you know what I'm talking about. When Sports came out in '86. Do you like Phil Collins? Do you like Huey Lewis in the News? This is Susudio, a personal favorite. But yeah, what an intense, terrifyingly intimate moment is knowing that guy, and he didn't look like the type who does a great job like wiping. Doesn't look like he's really built for it. Kind of stubby arms, big corporate ass. So there's no way he's getting in there to get a good dig. And you really have to. If you think about, I don't think most people clean their anuses the way they should be. If you're wiping and there's anything coming up, you have to check the paper. Check the paper, you throw it in the bowl. If there's more, you gotta wipe again. And you gotta keep going. And you gotta keep going. And you keep wiping until it's fucking spotless, he said as he drank chocolate milk. Wow, it's great. I got people bailing out of the live stream left and right. I must be doing speaking of shit, I must be doing an awful job. Apologies to anyone who actually went to the trouble to fucking download this train wreck of an episode. And wow, I've already wasted like 20 minutes of your time. But anyway, the point being, just so horrifyingly gross to know that as we locked eyes and he was walking past me, there was in that fucking, just sort of that hanging musk of a freshly shat anus. Wild, intense stuff. And workplace fucking shitting. I have to do it almost every day. There is nothing worse than when you have to force one out. If the coffee doesn't fucking send it flying, you know it's gonna be a long one. And then you're playing this mental game of, okay, I have to get it out and wiped and flushed and up to the sink past the stall so that if anyone comes in the door, they don't realize that I was coming from the shitter. They'd think I was just taking a piss. And it's a whole fucking thing. I love taking a shit at work because I love kicking back and just looking at fucking Instagram hoes and reading tweets and stuff while I take care of business. Because you come out of there feeling, in some ways, like a new man. Because you're walking around the office, you're a few pounds lighter. But if you don't get that, if you get a rushed wipe, it's a fucking day ruiner. Which then starts begging all sorts of other questions. Do you want to take that first thing in the morning shit? I get to the office, I'm an hour ahead of everyone. I'm in at 8. Most people don't start showing up until 9, and a lot of people, if you're not into work until 9, you're taking your shit at home. You're getting that fucking thing out of the way. So, do you do that then, even if you may not have to, and can you afford to spend that kind of time away from your desk at the beginning of the day? But if you wait too late in the day, now you're going to start running into the post-lunch crowd, and that is a dangerous, dangerous crowd to be around, because you have no idea. If they went for like some sort of Korean fusion taco, like a Korean Mexican fusion place, and they're getting a fucking meat taco with kimchi on top of it, oh, that shit'll fly the fuck right through you. You get those probiotics kicking around and a little bit of meat and some hot sauce. That's a dangerous bathroom to go into after. I don't want to follow that. I have actually found, interestingly, because mornings, like I said, usually not terrible there in the mornings, just because most people they're not ready to shit yet. The one major exception to that is Monday morning. Monday morning, it is a fucking nightmare in there. It is everyone is just getting rid of whatever they gorged themselves on all day Sunday, because Sunday's a fucking eating day. You got brunch, you got Sunday dinners, snacks. If it's football season, you're piling on wings and nachos and all sorts of shit, plus beer too. Ooh. And then you get a little Sunday night HBO going. Maybe you have some ice cream, so we got some dairy in the mix. I mean, it is just a gastrointestinal fucking terrorist attack in that fucking place on a Monday morning. But yeah, it's unavoidable just because of how much I eat, so I always wind up shitting there. But anyway, I can tell by the amount of people who keep dropping off of the stream that you're tired of hearing me talk about taking a shit at work, so I will move on after I take this little sip. Actually, I think we got some fun shit coming up for you. What do we have here? I got a couple stories. I have one about a very lazy child molester. I have another, Winnie the Pooh might be a rapist. That'll be fun. And The Simpsons versus Andrew Cuomo and Canada. They fucked with them both. I'll just hit on the the Cuomo thing. I don't know. I might pull up a second article on that. I'll see how it's going. I have a delightful piece of salmon in the refrigerator right now, fucking topped with crab meat. So I'm not gonna lie. As much as I enjoy talking to you fine folks and podcasting, I really want to eat the fuck out of that salmon. In any case, before I jump into these stories, please, social media, check us out. Obviously, if you're watching this, it's facebook.com/thesavagecrew. That is where everything kind of lives, and all the links to the downloadable podcast are up at the top of the page. Twitter @Mike Montone. Instagram @Gary_Moyler, MOYLER. And you can find the podcast in all of its glory at thesavagecrew.libsyn, LIBSYN.com. Chocolate milk. What did I want to read? This. Alright, well, I gotta make sure I don't fucking X out of the other one. Here we go. What do we got? NJ man caught sexually assaulting sleeping child when passerby looked in bedroom window faces 25 years in prison. A New Jersey man caught sexually assaulting a sleeping child when a passerby happened to look into a Long Branch bedroom window in 2017 has admitted to multiple charges and faces 25 years in state prison. Jesus. Jaime Mauricio Leon of Bloomfield. First of all, what the fuck? What are you doing? What are you doing going from Bloomfield to Long Branch to molest a kid? He was pled guilty to aggravated sexual assault and possession of child porn. That's like an hour drive to molest a kid? The fuck are you doing? Plenty of sexy kids in Bloomfield, no? A passerby who happened to look in a bedroom window of a Long Branch residence on June 16, 2017, saw a man, later identified as Leon, and a woman sexually assaulting. Well, that is just completely fucked up. And a woman assaulting the child. Who the fuck does that? The woman who knows the victim. Jesus Christ. That's just fucking... I mean, that's fucking disgusting. But I do have to ask. I do have to ask. And this is really the reason that I picked this story. How do you get caught molesting a kid by someone looking in through the window? I mean, if I commit the most minor of crimes, if I'm going to drink a beer on the subway, if I'm going to jaywalk, if I'm going to smoke a joint in the park, I do my fucking diligence to make sure that there is no one around who will tell on me, no law enforcement. If I'm going to commit a crime in front of a window, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close the shades. Yeah, one, for sure, don't molest kids. Let's start there. Don't do that. Could have avoided all of this trouble. 25 years. It's not looking good for a Jaime here. But also, if you are so inclined to molest children, and again, I don't want it to seem like I'm attempting to aid and abet would-be child molesters, but I expect my criminals to have the fucking, the common sense that if you're going to commit such a heinous crime, to not do it in front of an open window? Is that too much to ask? I mean, come on, man. Of all the crimes to commit in front of an open window, like, I understand murder. You might murder someone in front of an open window, right? Crime of passion. Just pulled the trigger and blew him away. Boom! I get it. Happens. It's not good. You don't want to do that. You're going to off someone. You want to do it like out in the desert where you got like, a pre-dug hole and everything. We've all seen Casino. But at least I understand how you might just snap one day and blow someone's brains out in front of a window. That would make sense, right? If you're going to rob a candy store, candy stores notoriously have big front glass windows. Very hard to avoid robbing a candy store without there being a window in play. But molesting a sleeping child, I mean, the kid's not even awake. Pick him up and take him into a different fucking room. There are two of you. Just of all fucking things. I mean, how are you getting caught in molesting a kid in front of an open fucking window? I mean, they should put this guy in jail for life for being a fucking moron. Come on. Just terrible. Just a piss-poor display of child molestation. I don't expect a lot out of my child molesters, but I at least expect them to try. Put some fucking effort forth. Maybe he wanted to get caught. Maybe he was just disgusted with himself. I don't know. But yeah, terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Definitely not the valedictorian of his class when he got his graduate degree in child molestation. What do we got next? This is fun. Well, not fun for Christopher Robin. That's not a good Winnie the Pooh voice, but I should tell you why I'm doing a Winnie the Pooh voice. Winnie the Pooh Disney voice star Jim Cummings accused of rape and animal abuse. Jesus Christ. And it's rape, animal abuse. So he's of, different separate crimes. He didn't butt fuck Tigger, or Eeyore. In any case, he is currently locked in a bitter war with his ex-wife. I guess it's a custody issue, and she is now claiming that he abused her for years. He was a drug addict, and he abused animals as well. According to documents, he has engaged in physical, sexual, emotional abuse, including but not limited to death threats, rape, and various sexual deviant behavior forced upon me without my consent. I see. She claims to have obtained 2 separate domestic violence restraining orders against the 66-year-old star, including after an incident on August 31st, 2011. She says Jim came over to her home, slapped her on the buttocks, and forced himself on her in front of their 4-year-old daughter. He later came up behind me, grabbed my arm, spun me around, and forcefully put his hand on the back of my neck and kissed me while holding me in place against a wall. She says after the kiss, Jim asked if she could see him leaking because that's what I make him do when he touches me. Who the fuck says that? That's not even like a sexy thing to say. Can you see me leaking? Yeah, you're so hot that I start to leak pre-cum. Isn't that just like a great way to tell a chick that your dick is pretty much worthless? I would never brag about leaking after a kiss. You fucking creep. Leaking. What did it say? Can you feel how hard I... Something like that. Give her something manly. Put your hand on your cock or something. I don't know. I'm confused. I'm not sure if you noticed, my fastball's a little bit off tonight. It's been a rather long day. Anyway, according to... He didn't even dispute the incident, but remembers it differently than his ex. Said he was joking and laughing with Stephanie, and then touched her slightly on the butt. The whole incident was happy. Yeah, okay, well, he says it didn't fucking happen. It is... I have heard it is common during, heated custody disputes and shit for things to be, kind of fabricated, but I have no fucking clue. She claims that Jim would frequently, without consent, touch her buttocks, groin, and breast. He would hold her in place, attempt to kiss and fondle, spank her in front of the daughters, and make sexual comments that she found repugnant. What? I can't imagine spanking someone. Like, when she says spanking, does she mean like you just, goosed her a little bit, or like a full-fledged open bottom spank? Because there are certainly different degrees. I do appreciate this line. Of all the inappropriate comments he allegedly made to the former couple's daughters, Stephanie claims Jim commented that he was allowed to touch mommy's breasts since he had paid for them. That's interesting, because they say possession is 9/10 of the law. She possesses the breasts, but he's the founder of the breasts. That's a conundrum. If we have a lawyer watching, if you could fill us in on what the rule on that is. Again, he denies that it happens. I'm going to be honest, I have no great insight to any of this. I just wanted to read off essentially a list of shit that the guy who voiced Winnie the Pooh did, so that if you're a parent and you have to sit through a bunch of fucking Winnie the Pooh, I know I got some parents out there watching, then at least it kind of spices things up a little bit. You can fucking enjoy, like, oh, this guy's a deviant. Listen to what he apparently did here. During a visit to see the children, she claims Jim asked to stay at the house and she allowed it. However, during the middle of the night, she claims Jim was standing over me with his erect penis in hand. He was using my hand to stroke his penis while my youngest daughter was asleep on the other side of me. She was 10 years old at the time. I'm going to start right here. Your 10-year-old daughter should not be sleeping in bed with you. Your ex-husband should not be sleeping in the house with the family. Those two things could clear all this up real quick. Don't do that. I'm not saying it's the victim's fault here. If this, in fact, happened, I would blame it on the weirdo who's walking in to get jerked off in front of his daughter. But that's, again, this is all if it happened. We don't know that he definitely did this shit. It certainly is a bizarre, wide range of behaviors, though, so it leads one to wonder. I told him to stop and get out of the house. He refused. He then came back and did the same thing, insisting I masturbate him or he would wake Lulu up. Okay, that's an interesting threat. Jerk me off, or I'm going to wake up the little girl. That is, you see a lot. Or what was that movie? I don't know. I don't think was Kiefer Sutherland in it. It was a movie. Maybe I'm just thinking about that because it was a clock. Was it Nick of Time? Where they have like the daughter tied up and they're gonna like blow up the daughter if he doesn't kill the president or some shit. It was something like that. I don't know. I remember there was a preview for a movie in front of this other movie I used to watch all the time as a kid, and it was this guy racing against the clock, and he had to do something, or they were going to kill this little fucking girl. But there's always, I feel like there's always a very nefarious movie guy or terrorist or whatever, and his big threat is always, you have to do this by this time, or we're going to do something terrible to this little girl. Like, remember Man on Fire, Denzel, he has to go save the little girl. There's always a little girl at peril in these situations. This might be the first time I've ever heard anyone issue a threat that if you didn't jerk him off, he was going to wake up the little. If you do not stroke semen out of this penis before midnight tomorrow, we're going to wake up the little girl. Like, what a terrible terrorist! Come up with a better threat, man. Allegations of drug use. Oh boy, I like drugs though; they're fun. Ongoing court battle, blah blah blah. No one gives a fuck. Oh yeah. Oh, we should do this then. This is this is the part where he's mean to the dog. If he did this, he's a fucking piece of shit. I don't care. You want to grab your ex-wife's tits. You want to slap her ass in front of your kids like a weirdo, but don't do this shit. In her argument to get full custody of the two children, Stephanie claims Jim once abused the family puppy to the point where it almost died. Stephanie says she and Jim had purchased a dog and the animal urinated inside the house. As a result, Stephanie says Jim took the dog and placed it inside a metal bucket outside of the house on a day which it was over 100 degrees, then left it there for a long time. The dog came close to dying. I will say this. If he did this, then he is a piece of shit and needs to rot in hell. Fuck this motherfucker. She also says that he took a broom and hit the puppy so hard that he shattered the puppy's hip, necessitating surgery. Again, I can neither confirm nor disconfirm any of this shit. Although, I would say, someone should go to, like, the fucking... There's got to be a record of some of this, right? Of their fucking dog needing hip surgery, and the vet being like, yeah, what... It seems like... This doesn't seem like a natural canine injury. It seems like, did someone hit this dog with a broom? Yeah, not good stuff. Wow, this guy really does like to party. Stephanie has also given testimony and is accusing Jim of currently living with a woman who was once a sex worker. The woman, Peggy Schink, rose to fame as one of the prostitutes who worked with Hollywood Madam Heidi Fleiss. Well, it's a high-end sex worker. Wow. This is a great line. Oh, I love it. Winnie the Pooh lives with a whore, pays a whore to pretend to be his girlfriend, rapes and abuses the mother of his kids, Stephanie said. She also claims that Jim has tried to get her to kill herself and has referred to his two daughters as N-word babies, which makes you wonder if a new wrinkle in all of this, if the wife was having a bit of a time, on the side with, maybe some gentlemen of a darker persuasion, and that has perhaps fueled some of the marital unrest. She says, Jim is a much smaller version of Harvey Weinstein, and he needs help for his alleged addictions. Well, how about that? Do you think, since we do have a wedding coming up, do you think when you're walking down the aisle, or like you're on those like first dates with someone and you're hitting it off, you're getting a little buzz, staring at each other's eyes over a nice plate of fettuccine alfredo at the local Italian restaurant, do you ever think that it's going to come down to either A, this guy making me jerk him off while my 10-year-old daughter sleeps feet away, or B, this woman making up stories about how I raped her and beat the dog in front of the kids? Just wild fucking shit. The spectrum and ridiculousness of human behavior. I was just talking to a buddy of mine who was having trouble with some shit, and we were just talking about like just how fucking unpredictable the human mind is, and it can really take you anywhere, and it can elicit all of these different behaviors. Even in this case, we have anything from the possibility of familial sex play to animal abuse, or the possibility that a person is such a fucking sociopath that they made all of it up about the father of their children. One or the other of these things is true. Either a woman is making this up, these heinous, horrible things about the man that she was supposed to spend her life with, or this guy is so fucked up that he demanded that his ex-wife jerk him off in front of his sleeping 10-year-old daughter and fucking beat and almost killed a fucking puppy because it took a little tinkle on the tile floor. I mean, insanity. Human beings are fucking nuts. I'm beginning to think that maybe we shouldn't be trusted with, the planet or, the functioning of anything or even our own lives. We need like an alien overlord to come in and be like, all right, guys, here's the thing. We read the article in the Post. Your guy who voices the short, fat, honey-eating bear, he's doing what? He's making his sleeping wife jerk him off in front of their sleeping 10-year-old daughter. This is the guy that voices your children's characters. We talked it over with the guys back on the mothership, and what's going to happen is we're gonna send a big tube down. It's going to suck all of the resources out of this planet. You're all going to be dead in about 3 months anyway. Have a good time. If I were you, I would just do as much fucking as possible because the end is going to be very hungry, very thirsty, and very miserable. All right, we're going back to Venus. Yeah, wow, wild, ridiculous shit. One last one that I do want to just tell you people about before I wrap. I'm fucking, like, when I say I'm exhausted, I'm gonna be up quite a bit past my bedtime tonight because I still gotta fucking eat. I'm looking forward to that salmon though. Ooh, baby. The Simpsons. So, I don't know if you guys saw The Simpsons. It wasn't this week, it was last week. They shit all over Newfoundland, Canada. They were making fun of them. They call them Newfies, which I guess is considered an ethnic slur up there. I guess it's well, not ethnic, but like a slur. They don't like it, which, fuck them, but, fucking Canada. Shut up. But, like, like the way we would call, like, someone like a hick or a redneck. I guess that, like, if you're from Newfoundland, you kind of have that reputation, so they call you a Newfie. And the Canadians, they got very upset about that, They don't like being called Newfies. I don't know. Is that a decent Canadian accent? I have no fucking clue. But they also took a big fat shit on upstate New York. They did a whole musical number about it. It was hilarious. They just fucking ripped it. And especially, like, I'm from New Jersey. I, live right by upstate New York because I've been there many a time. And, with the exception of, like, the Baseball Hall of Fame and there are a couple nice lakes, it is the least remarkable place ever. I mean, it's pretty, it's nice, the foliage and the scenery and the hills, and they have the delicious apples and baked goods and stuff, but it's also, anytime you get into a fucking rural area, it's just like, this is like, It's like classy Alabama. Like, what do you fucking need? I'm sorry. I'm a city boy. I'm not a country bumpkin. Well, I'm a suburbs boy who moved to a city and can't really fucking stand the city. I'm a beach guy. I gotta get to the fucking beach. But you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, the Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, who you certainly know his brother Chris Cuomo, CNN loudmouth Chris Cuomo. Chris's brother Andrew is the governor of New York, and I assume people kind of know who Andrew Cuomo is around the country. He's kind of a well-known loudmouth himself. He speaks very emphatically. We are going to boycott The Simpsons. I do not watch The Simpsons. He claims he's never seen The Simpsons. The show has been running for like 30 years. It's up there in the conversation for one of the most well-known, funniest shows in the history of TV. Cuomo's a New Yorker. New Yorkers tend to be pretty fucking savvy when it comes to this shit, especially entertainment. One would think that Cuomo was at least somewhat familiar with Homer Simpson, donut munching fat ass of much notoriety, but he has never seen. I'm sorry, I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons, but this is the Simpsons executive producer Al Jean sent him. Said, please accept our best wishes. This season 4 DVD. You might find its ideas on monorail transportation, dental plans, and local theater intriguing, or you might just enjoy an episode or two when the demands of Albany prove too unyielding. I fucking love The Simpsons. Actually, and to inform my own writing process, I actually have, this is Springfield Confidential here. It's a fucking breakdown of how like the Simpsons writers room works, how things are created, how they put an episode together. It's fucking brilliant. If you're into comedy and you're into writing and shit like that, you have to check it out, because these guys are gangster as fuck. Like, they've been doing it for so long. There's a reason that South Park did the episode, Simpsons did it. There's a reason that Family Guy makes fun of itself and acknowledges that they're a ripoff of The Simpsons. And Family Guy is like one of my favorite shows. I have no problem saying it's a fucking Simpsons ripoff. But I love that even after decades of The Simpsons, and Dick has made it's irrelevant, the show's not as good as it was, it's not as good. Yeah, it's changed, it's evolved, it's a different fucking show now, it's still hilarious, and they're pissing off Andrew Cuomo, and I love the picture the fucking Post used of Cuomo, too. The Post, such fucking dicks. God bless him. Alright, that is it. I'm gonna polish off this chocolate milk and wrap things up. Again, doing this episode was kind of on the fly. Just jotted down a couple notes and pulled some shit up on my tablet here. But for those of you who did tune in, I appreciate it as always. And you can find the podcast, the audio version, at thesavagetrew.libsyn.com, or you can check the links up at the top of the page, facebook.com/thesavagecrew. That's where you're watching this live stream, and on Twitter at Mike Montone, and Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, and I will catch you next week. I will be a little bronzer, and I will be a brother-in-law. That's exciting. And then, if my brother can ever manage a serviceable erection, I could soon be an uncle. That's gonna mean I'm gonna have to fucking shell out more cash for birthday and Christmas gifts. I didn't think about that. That sucks. Alright. Fuck. Alright. Just keep using birth control, kids. Alright, I will catch you guys next week. Have a good one. Smooches. Bye.